A friend of mine asked me to restore her daughter's puzzle book. The book was missing one piece. So here's how I did it. And this is the puzzle that's missing the piece. I first had to measure the thickness of the paper, which is 1.1 millimeters, and then I had to find out how many of my pieces of paper I have to bond to each other. It turned out to be more or less 3. So now I'm going to cut out 3 squares. I'm using a coaster for size. Doesn't have to be perfect, because I'm going to trim out the puzzle piece afterwards. Apply some cold glue and spread it properly. And then I'm going to bond them together with cold glue. The paper that I'm using is Fabriano paper. Next I'm pressing out the excess glue, and then I'm clamping the papers together. After that I'm putting it underneath the puzzle and tracing the outline of that missing piece onto the paper. Also sketching the picture on it. The next step is to use a hobby knife and carefully cut out the puzzle piece. If you press little holes through the paper on the outline, it makes the job much easier, and it reduces your risk of slipping and cutting off parts of the piece that you did not want to cut off. And then the next step is to sand the corners down, the edges, so that it fits the puzzle a bit smoother and so that it also feels nicer to handle. When the piece finally fits, you can proceed to draw the picture and then color it in. I am using the same artist quality watercolors that I paint with. I'm using the red and blue and yellow. So to get the green, you obviously mix blue and yellow, and then for darker ones you have more blue, and you even add more red for browner tones. If you want the green parts to be more yellowish, then it helps to first give it a layer of yellow before adding the green. At the moment I'm adding blue, which makes it green. For the brown I add a little bit of blue and some more red or rose. At the moment there's too much yellow in it, but I will blend it out with more red and more blue. Now it's getting more red. The Gruffalo is more a burnt sienna kind of color, a reddish brown. So you're gonna use less blue and more red, and still some yellow. The lips are a bit lighter. For the teeth I just use white and maybe a little bit of the brown that I've mixed. I also mix my own black, or what I as close as possible to black for the outlines, which I then put in with a very small brush. The lips can be faded a bit more, give it a more yellowish kind of look, and then the snout is supposed to be pinkish, although not exact. And this is basically the picture. Since this puzzle piece is going to be handled often by children, I am varnishing it with Mod Podge varnish, which I suppose is just a fancy name for cold glue, diluted cold glue. I'm giving it a few layers to give it a better finish and also to make it more durable. You have to wait about an hour between layers for it to dry properly. And the first layer you must put on very quickly so that you do not dissolve the paint and spread the paint again. So now the paint is fixed to the paper and it's almost waterproof. And that's it. Done. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.